As I pulled up to my house, and all of the people working about outside saw me approach, one of them came up to me. "Hey, you're the guy, right?" He described the bike to us, so you're the one we're pulling this job for. Well, your place wasn't really suited for our work, so we started setting up. Danny had a bunch of shit shipped here. He's been spending a lot of time setting up and getting some prep work done on the weaponry. Wow, it looks like Danny actually does put effort into things. Who would have freaking thought? Emily said in a very wise-aleck tone of voice as she took her helmet off, getting off of the motorcycle. Suddenly, the guy snapped to, like a soldier standing at attention and saluting. "Yes, sir, Miss Emily, ma'am. We are working very hard. We assure you we will complete the task, and we will not be a bother to you at all. We freaking swear." For a moment, Emily looked dumbfounded. "Why the hell are you acting like that?" Ma'am, it's because Danny said that he would blow our balls off if we pissed you off. He is not a liar. He will freaking do it. Would you like me to get you anything? Something to drink? We brought our own personal drink machine, something that'll give flavor to water. I mean, it's not much, but it's something. I could get you a glass, several glasses, maybe one for you and your friend. Whatever you want, Miss Emily, I'm on it. Yeah, actually, that sounds nice. 2 fresh drinks. What flavor would you like, ma'am? And how much ice? About half a cup of ice and cherry flavor. I'll take blueberry. I always like blueberry. And the same on the ice. Yes, ma'am, Miss Emily, ma'am. We'll be inside, Emily said, slowly walking past him. It wouldn't matter where you were, I'd find you to bring you your drinks. Your service from us is guaranteed. You can freaking believe that, he said, before running off, I suppose to go get our drinks. Well, it looks like having a brother with goons is paying off. If in no other way thus far, then in a little bit of extra convenience. I'm not used to having drinks around here, especially ones with freaking ice. Sounds nice. I bet Danny has this sort of treatment back where he's from. Oh, it doesn't matter. Can we get down to business? I heard from behind me as the doctor was just crawling his way out of that monstrosity he traveled here in. I mean, really, just because he has subordinates doesn't make him important. He's basically no one. Anyone can have goons. Regardless, we have other matters to attend to. So if you would, I'd like to get on with it. Go chill your horses, Doc. We'll get to it. But remember, you're not the only one providing me services. There are still other things that need to be worked out. For instance, this guy, Danny, is building my freaking weapons. Those are kind of important in a death race. So perhaps, if you could stow your wise British attitude for just a minute, while I talk over how not to die with my weapons tech. Ugh, fine, he replied, beginning to take some briefcases out of that contraption he traveled here in. As he did, the tiny little robot was apparently in there too, as it stumbled out, clattering as it hit the ground. Oh, you metallic buffoon! Must you trip on everything? Once again, the metallic little robot, looking like it's made out of tin cans or something, scrambled to its feet and began a frantic round of beeping and clanking in different ways, as if it was trying to have a conversation with him. Once again, I couldn't make heads or tails of it, but it looked like it was trying to explain itself, maybe. Oh, don't give me that. Just get the other things. For God's sakes, I don't even know why I built you. Just nostalgia. just take the things inside and start brewing me a pot of tea. I'm going to need something to relax. That drive was agony. I breathed a sigh of relief that our journey was finally over, and that things were looking like they were starting to get underway here. My only real question was how Al and Danny were getting along in my absence. There was no question that Al would most likely be here, trying to give Danny the rundown of my motorcycle. After all, I did leave some blueprints at the steel mill and told Al where they were. That way he could start looking over them. It was the basic schematics for how I laid out the bike. They weren't professionally made blueprints, but they were functional enough that Al could get the gist of it. Al and Danny were going to need to cooperate, especially seeing that the weapon systems had to work with the bike without interfering with its normal mechanical functions, which might prove trouble in a discussion. I know Al wasn't exactly fair-tempered either. With those two together, I could imagine things going south. Quite frankly, I'm surprised that they haven't had a shootout by now. I thought to myself as I slowly made my way towards the front door, which was opened at this point. As I entered, I saw that Danny had once again made himself at home. He had cleared out most of the equipment that I had on the floor, shifting it to the far side of the steel mill, and setting up a bunch of equipment, computers, and other types of things, workshop tables indoors as well as out, with all manner of strange-looking devices laying on them. He had actually added a fair amount of lighting in here too, and with the amount of equipment that he had hooked up in here, chances were he most likely brought some generators along with him. The small standalone generator that I had powering the steel mill before this wouldn't have had enough juice for all of this. And there, standing in front of one of the tables, was both Al and Danny, looking like they were talking something over, looking down at a table with a lot of lights and equipment on it, and seemingly the blueprints to my motorcycle. "Hey, so, you two kill each other yet?" I said as I approached, Emily right behind me. "Ah, well, you're finally back. About fucking time, kid. No, we haven't killed each other just yet, but I'm gonna be honest, I'm getting fucking close," Al said, biting into the cigarette in his mouth. "Ugh, I don't understand why you hired this cranky old bastard. There must have been some young mechanics out there," Danny replied. "Ones that were a bit more freaking agreeable." "Oh, don't get me started," Al shouted. "This is a goddamn motorcycle. It's meant to move fast and have a perfectly functioning engine. Quite frankly, your little gadgets take up way too much damn juice. They're gonna pull power right out of the engine when he needs it. In an electric engine, a lack of electrical power means a lack of horsepower, of speed, the ability to get up and go on the drop of a dime. You gotta take that kind of crap into account. It may be a death race, but remember, it's still a fucking race. Moving fast is key." "Oh, don't get started, old man. I already told you I know the bike still has to be fast. But if he can't kill the other drivers, blow their asses to little bits, and keep himself from being blown to little bits, then being able to move fast isn't going to be the most important thing. He has to have solid defensives and a way to take people out, and fast at that. That kind of weaponry takes juice, power. The only trade-off is if you get solid weaponry. It doesn't rely on energy. But then you're trading off the extra weight of carrying ammunition, equipment, all things that can affect the delicate balance that's required for a motorcycle to move fast, have good maneuverability. I've been building weapons for a long goddamn time, and I've put them on more than enough vehicles to know. If you don't have the right weapons, you're a dead man. Would you talk some sense into this old bastard? He won't budge. I could say the same about this young cocky prick. Both Al and Danny seemed to be at odds, which was better than the death match that I might expect. Quite frankly, I'm surprised that they were still talking about it civilly, with a sense of responsibility to the work rather than just trying to kill each other. I suppose I was just lucky, at least so far. But that can always change, and there's no telling how they're going to react with the doctor in the mix.